What's going on in your life? Because you just said that you are on the brink of homelessness. Explain what's going on.
I have been not taken very seriously, let's just say, in a variety of instances. So I'd done everything right. I focused on my career. I saved, 4 or 5 months I had in the bank to pay my bills and live my life. And, it's on, what am I on now? Month 10 of unemployment. My unemployment's gone. I had to cash out my 401k so I could just keep paying my mortgage. I'm at the point now where I've applied to over 400 jobs and I've got about 2 months left of paying my mortgage in my bank account.
But is that the show's fault?
I'm not blaming the show.
There's this illusion of endless opportunity and endless options.
You say that you were let go from your job for various reasons. Can you give us any insight into that? Did you leave?
Technically, I was laid off. There were a number of layoffs, but it's a week after my name was not politely mentioned in the media. So I think that might have been a contributing factor when decisions were being made. That's speculation, of course. Even after the show came out in that role, I definitely felt like I wasn't taken as seriously anymore.
You mentioned the conditions with Love is Blind, that you were working 20 hours a day, you were paid less than minimum wage. Explain that.
Yeah, so you get $1,000 a week stipend while you're filming the show. So I went the whole way, till the very end and got married. So I got $7,000 and then an additional 3 weeks for after the altar, which equated to $10,000 total for the entire thing. And when you're working in the pods and you're in Mexico for 3 weeks, you are under complete control and surveillance 24/7. You don't have any control of your information. So you should be paid and treated like you're an employee at that point.
Why didn't you guys voice these concerns while you were shooting the show? And you're saying, hey, you guys, we're working 20 hours a day. This is out of line. Why didn't you voice those concerns?
There were times where we would voice these concerns in a way of like asking for food, asking for water, trying to skip nighttime dates. Some people skipped nighttime dating and then were sent home shortly after that. So there's all these sort of elements in there. And then there's a slow build to it, right? Like when you sign your contract, okay, they're going to take my phone for 3 weeks. Of course, you can't go find out who you're talking to on social media. It just slowly builds up to the point where it's almost like Stockholm syndrome, right? Where you become sympathetic to your abuser. So we are trying the best you can in those moments, but it really wasn't for me until I reflected back after everything that happened, because it snowballed for me, right? It was like show came out, filming after the altar, divorce, fired, all of this stuff. And then, it was just like, okay, now I have time to sit back and reflect. And that's when I was like, this is messed up.
All decisions are yours. You and you alone will choose who you want to spend time with.
What do you say to the people, especially people in comments on some of the stories online that are saying, dude, go get a job? What do you say to those people?
I'm trying. I've applied to over 400 jobs. I do consulting on the side when I can find those opportunities, and I will find a job when that opportunity comes my way.
What are you willing to do to keep yourself afloat, and how are you going to as the months count down and you could be behind on your mortgage?
I continue to look for work. I continue to consult on the side in my expertise of marketing and various industries I have expertise in. So that's been part of what's kept me afloat a little bit longer than maybe I would have been. I also am picking up, any type of side hustle that I can.
Do you think it's a good time to have this kind of message?
I think it is. And I think the time is now. I didn't tell my story for attention. I don't even want to talk about it. What I want to do is talk about the reality of the situation that we're in here so that people in the reality cast and unscripted space aren't exploited and don't lose everything that they built before they go on the show. Because you really don't know what's going to happen after that, despite, the you signed up for it crowd.
What do you say to the you signed up for it crowd? Because you, in a sense, did sign a contract.
Yeah, so you sign a contract, right? And you read it and you tell yourself, the story that you're being told about how the show is produced is true. The psychological love-based experience, you could find your wife in there. We do things better. We've learned from other shows like this one. We're not looking for people that want to get famous. You start to believe it all, right? It's like propaganda. You hear it over and over and over. And what people see on TV and the perception that people have that you're like, you're a celebrity now and you don't have to, you get a Brinks truck dropping cash off at your house every day, which just is not the case.
What way don't they take you seriously now?
Well, when people find out that it's Nick from the show or that I'm on an interview and someone recognizes me, it quickly just changes the whole dynamic of the interview. It's not about my skills necessarily anymore. It's not necessarily about what I've accomplished in the past or what I'm capable of doing. It's just it gets very light.
After the show, you were saying that you feel that also affected things, how the media perceived you. What do you mean by how the media perceived you?
When you go on a dating show, and you come out and you get married like I did, people know you for your relationship. They don't know you for your career, which is, interesting because that's where I put my effort. Like my presence on LinkedIn was much more than it was on Instagram or on TikTok. I was actually recruited for Love is Blind on LinkedIn.
Now is the time to decide if love is blind.
You embrace that in many ways, like most people do, that attention, that overwhelming limelight. You embrace that. Do you regret doing that now?
Yes, I embraced it. There's no way around it when you go on this show. Like you have to pretty much do press. You're contractually obligated to do it. In retrospect, do I wish I wouldn't have done it? Probably not. Because not the press. I mean, again, didn't have a choice. Would I have gone on the show? That's where I'm kind of like, I don't know. Well, that time will tell. I don't regret my relationship or anything like that.
You have to make the most important decision of your life.
This is where it gets exciting.
You found love, though, on the show. And do you appreciate that part of it?
I do appreciate that part of it. Absolutely. That part, no regrets there. It's interesting because when you look back on it and you think about all of the things that happened, like I kind of justified that in my mind that like, well, at least I found my partner.
You two ended up divorcing, but is there any update you can give us on how things are?
We are cordial. We talk. We're aligned on some of the mission and the things that I'm working on and things that she's working on to sort of hopefully influence and change the reality TV industry, because it's incredibly damaging and has damaged and exploited a variety and several people from various shows that both of us have been engaged with. So that's kind of a common denominator for us right now.
Talk about a little bit about your work with trying to change the way things are viewed and the way reality TV operates. What are you currently doing and what do you hope happens?
I started the UCAN Foundation back in April, which is the Unscripted Cast Advocacy Network. Our goal there is to take care of the immediate thing right now, which is that we have cast members that need legal and mental health supports.
Guys, welcome to Love is Blind.
Woo! What is your advice for the new cast of Love is Blind? It's out this fall.
My advice to them would be, get your mental health in gear, understand that what you see on there is going to feel like gaslighting, and just be confident enough to speak your truth.